Hey gang, welcome back to another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. I'm your host, Chris Angel, and I'm coming at you today to talk about my duplicity. My duplicity. I suppose I could say it's your duplicity as well. This is a human thing, not a Chris thing, but I was noticing it today. I was present to it today, and at the end I'm going to give you a question to ask yourself to help you start to figure out what part of this duplicity you want to work from. So, backstory on this. I'm clear that there are at least two versions of me, right? I mean, if we simplified it, we could take all my personas and move them into just two people, right? There is the Chris who wants to coast, who wants to check out, who wants to sit on the couch and do nothing, right? There's that Chris. And then there's the Chris who wants to lead and build stuff and make a difference in the world. And those two people have opposing energies. One doesn't want to build, the other wants to build, right? So you can see that there is this duplicity happening. And this happens, by the way, on any given day. It's not like, lazy Chris just shows up once a year. Every day, lazy Chris is there. Right? And every day, leader Chris is there, but they are constantly battling for who gets the right of way. And this is hard in business because if lazy Chris ends up winning most of the time, leader Chris doesn't get to go out in the world and create stuff. Right? This is the challenge I find with a lot of solopreneurs, people in business for themselves. We bump up against this duplicity that we have. And if we don't see that duplicity for what it is, if we don't notice that there are two personas happening here, what happens is we just think all of it is me. In other words, I can't distinguish it, then I get confused by myself. I think one minute I want to do great things, and the other minute I'm like totally lazy, like what's wrong with me? What's happening to me? And we start to doubt ourselves. And this doubt can seep in and sort of take over. The doubt is simply a symptom of you not distinguishing between the two personas, right? The two people at play inside of you. So what do we do with this? Like, how do we, at some point in business, we have to get productive. We have to make some choices. And ultimately, and I know that the way you're going to produce results in business is if your leader shows up and not the lazy person shows up. It's interesting when I think about what do I like best about me? When do I like me best? When do I like me best? And if I sit with that for a minute, I like me best when I am creating. I like me best. One of the reasons I like doing daily shows is that it causes me to show up. And I like me best when I show up. I like me best when I show up. Do you know I go back and I listen to these episodes? I'll go on a walk with my dog and I listen back to these episodes because I want to hear what life has taught me. I want to hear how I said it to you. And when I listen to it, I think that was a great episode. I really enjoyed that episode. And I think to myself, I like me when I do that. I like me when I do that. You could ask the opposite question, right? You could say like, well, when do I not like me? And I could say, I don't like me when I sit around and procrastinate. I don't like me when I make excuses or see something that I want and take no action to get there. So this is, I think the beginning is starting to just deconstruct that there are two personas happening for you, at its bare bones. There are many parts that play a role in our everyday lives, in our head. We have many parts in our head. But if we boiled it down, there are two. There's one that wants to lead, and then there's one that's lazy and wants to sit on the couch. So if we can begin to deconstruct these personas, to notice the characteristics of them both, what actions do I take that come from my leader, and what actions do I take that come from the lazy Chris? That's the first step. Now, here's the question you can ask yourself in this, right? The question for you to ask that I have found empowering is, I like me best when, or that's right, blank. I like me best when blank. That's not really a question, that's a statement, but here it is as a question, right? When do I like me best? When do I like me best? And my invitation to you is to go journal about that. Go write down when you like you best. If you could isolate some of that, you can start to see how you could live out your life and your business in the next year. Every day making choices to live from that thing that when you like you best. I like me best when blank. I like me best when I make these videos. I like me best when I'm working on the whiteboard. I like me best when I'm teaching, when I'm coaching, when I'm creating, right? So you can see that there are things that you do that you like you best when you do them. And if we could begin to isolate what those are, it just is, it's going to be a more empowering experience for you in your business, your marketing, and your life. So if you would like help, if you're ready to lead and not be lazy, if you're ready to step in to your business and lead the conversation that you're here to lead in the world, I invite you to my 6-week program called the Groundswell Method Intensive, right? The place to get started is a free video at groundswellmethod.com. You'll watch the free video. On the last page of that video is an application, okay? You can fill out the application and it comes to me, all right? That's it, gang. I mean, that's it for today. Here's to you in your duplicity, finding the leader in you and choosing that over the lazy person. See you tomorrow.